The Princess Who Never Smiled, a Russian folktale. Long ago, in a grand kingdom beyond the snowy forests of Russia, there lived a princess so beautiful and kind, yet she had never smiled, not once since the day she was born. Her name was Princess Vera, and her silence was a mystery. The king and queen tried everything. They brought jesters, acrobats, storytellers, even rare animals from distant lands, but the princess would only watch in silence, her eyes calm like a still lake. "She has the saddest eyes," whispered the courtiers. "But the kindest heart," replied the servants. The king, desperate to see his daughter smile, made a royal decree. "Whoever makes the princess smile shall marry her and inherit half the kingdom." Men from all corners of the land came, noblemen, knights, magicians, but none succeeded. Meanwhile, in a humble village far from the castle, lived a young man named Ivan. He was poor, but honest, and always ready to help others. He worked as a stable boy and shared what little he had with the orphans in his village. One day, Ivan found a wounded bird and nursed it back to health. The bird, to his surprise, turned into a little forest spirit who said, "You have a kind heart. Take this enchanted sack. It will help you on your journey." The sack was magical. It could carry anything without getting heavy. Ivan didn't know why he was given the gift, but he thanked the spirit and began his walk toward the castle. On his journey, he helped a crying child find her mother, fixed an old man's broken cart, and even stopped a group of bullies from harming a dog. Each time he helped someone, his enchanted sack glowed faintly. When he finally reached the castle, he arrived covered in mud, his clothes torn from the road. The guards laughed. You think you can make the princess smile?" But the king, keeping his promise, allowed Ivan to try. Ivan stood before the princess. He didn't juggle or dance. Instead, he opened his sack and began pulling out the most ridiculous things: an old boot filled with flowers, a chicken wearing spectacles, a flute that played itself, and a tiny goat that sneezed glitter. The court burst into laughter, but Princess Vera remained still, until the little goat leapt into Ivan's arms and gave him a big sneeze right in the face. Glitter flew everywhere. Ivan's eyes widened in surprise, his face covered in sparkle, and the princess laughed. Not just a chuckle, but a full-hearted, joyful laugh that echoed through the hall like a bell ringing in springtime. For the first time in her life, she smiled, and the kingdom rejoiced. True to his word, the king offered Ivan her hand in marriage, but Ivan, blushing, said, "I only wanted to see her happy. That's enough for me." The princess, moved by his sincerity, stepped forward and said, "Then let's be happy up together." And so they were married, not because of a royal decree, but because two hearts had met in kindness and laughter. They ruled the land with wisdom and joy, and the princess never stopped smiling again. Moral of the story: sometimes the simplest acts of kindness can reach the deepest hearts. It's not strength, wealth, or status that brings happiness, but sincerity, compassion, and a little laughter. True connection happens when hearts speak, not just words.